now, and an honor it is to have you both here. But for our subscribers that do not know who you are, what you do, and what Turning Point USA is, can you please explain that to them? Mr. Kirk, you're first on this one.
Sure. Call me Charlie. First of all, it's awesome what you're doing. I got you're much further ahead of the curve than I was. I got started when I was 14, so you're way ahead of the game.
That's great. What a fun clip that is. That young man there is Brilyn Hollyhand, who's a little bit older now, host of the Brilyn Hollyhand Show. Brilyn, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. We're good. We're inspired by what happened last week to keep going for Charlie, like he said in that interview. So pretty cool.
Yeah. You were 11 years old in that interview. Why did you want to be like Charlie Kirk? And now why do you want to be like Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, I want to be like Charlie more in the past week than ever before. The little backstory on context for that conversation. I got interested in politics and started that podcast in the fourth grade, 11 years old. Nobody would come on the show. Local dog catcher, city council, we couldn't get anybody on the program. Charlie Kirk happened to be coming and speaking in town, and I DM'd him and said, hey man, can you give me 10 minutes? Up and comer, got a podcast, would love to have you. He said, we'll give you 30, and he brought Candace Owens with him. And the very end of that interview, he said something that inspired the whole course of my political career so far. I asked him what advice he had, and he said, Brilyn, the left will always out fundraise us, but they can't outwork me. And I will wake up as early as I need to. I will work as late as I need to. And I'll go wherever I need to travel to fight for the country. And Charlie lived that out until the very end. He's been a friend, a mentor. I talked to him just a few hours before his passing. This is heartbreaking and we're grieving, but we feel so inspired and passionate to fight for something bigger than ourselves. And we're going to keep fighting.
Give me the advice one more time. I want to make sure we all hear it right. What was the advice he gave you?
He said that the left will always out fundraise us, but they will never outwork us. And he'll wake up as early as he needs to, stay up as late as he needs to, and travel wherever he needs to. And he did that, and he lived that, and he went to as many campuses as he could every year.
Yeah. Why do you think, to our older audience, Brilyn, why do you think Charlie was able to connect so well with younger people?
He had this really relatable factor about him. He was super authentic, and he would go to college campuses and do this novel thing called talking to college students. You see, Kamala Harris lived out the consultant's fever dream of how to win over Gen Z. She had Beyonce and Taylor Swift stand next to her. She had a TikTok account, and she used bumper stickers like Joy. But it didn't genuinely win people over because she screamed at us instead of talk to us. Charlie went to campuses and talked to us. And today I announced I'm partnering with Turning Point USA to launch a college campus speaking tour called One Conversation at a Time. I'm going to be traveling to 10 college campuses this semester alone to be bolder and louder than ever before because of Charlie and to live out Charlie's legacy of having conversations on college campuses. That's how he won us over. That's how he made conservatism cool again. We can't stop fighting. As scary as it is, we cannot cower.
Are you scared of getting attacked? Is your mom scared of you getting attacked?
Certainly. I've never had to have a security detail before. Walking to class on my own campus, that's a new thing because of the outpouring of death threats that I've gotten in the last week, triple my normal amounts. That security is so concerned. I genuinely can't walk to see my friends without security. On the college campuses, obviously we have an enhanced security plan, but you can't live in fear. You can't cower. That's not what Charlie would want. Is it genuinely terrifying to stand on a stage on a campus and hold a microphone today? Yes, it is. But they want us to be scared and they want us to stop and they can't silence us. The coward that shot my friend last week attempted to, shut my generation up. But if anything, he woke us up.
There's obviously different speeches that have different topics, etc. But what is one important message that you think young people in particular need to hear today?
Championing civil discourse. One of the last conversations I ever had with Charlie was his prediction that the day that civil discourse dies, America follows it. And he was spot on. And we're getting to that point that if we can't keep talking to each other and we keep assassinating people that we disagree with, our nation will fail. And this great experiment that our founders set in motion 250 years ago will not stand the test of time. To heal the country, we have to talk, and that happens one conversation at a time. That's why we're calling the campus tour to 10 campuses, one conversation at a time, is that's what I'll be doing, talking to people.
The people you've talked to on these college campuses, we all seen clips, right? And sometimes we see the most extreme clips of crazy lefty lunatics. But what's the most common type of conversation that you've been a part of or that you've seen Charlie actually have? Not just the ones that go viral, but he's there for hours. So what really takes place in those hours?
So Charlie had a goal where he did 100 hours of campus speeches every year, and he did that. And so, like, of the hundreds of hours, you really just saw like the 2 or 3 episodes where like it's like the crazy people with the blue hair screaming at him. What people didn't see is the genuine people that came up time after time to his speeches and my speeches and say, knew nothing about politics. No knowledge, never voted, never paid attention, but now I see the importance of it. And I think that so many people are going to be woken up by what happened last week to realize that no longer is this a fight of red versus blue. This is good versus evil. And it's important. And it's not just something that it's important to like vote so your local taxes come down. Like it's important so that we can save the country and change the culture, that we don't kill our friends, but we actually have conversations with them. And I think that it's really easy for the left to scream at me and attack me on stage, but it's really hard for them to talk to me. And we're opening up Q&As at all 10 speeches that I'm giving on campuses this semester because we want to champion civil discourse. We want to bring back conversations on campuses. And the reason we're seeing all of this today, the reason that Charlie was killed last Wednesday, is because my generation was raised to believe that faith and politics are taboo topics that you can't talk about at the dinner table and you can't talk about in public. Therefore, we don't know how to talk. We know how to dye our hair blue, grab a nose ring, get a bullhorn, and shut down a college campus when we're frustrated. We don't know how to talk to each other. And Charlie was killed as a result of that.
Yeah, what a lie that we've all been told, like, oh, whatever you do, don't talk about religion and politics. You're like, well, what are the two most screwed up things in our country right now? Like we've been literally told not to talk about those things. That's got to stop. Brilyn, grateful for you. Charlie gave you advice. I'm old now, so I'll give you some advice if you didn't ask. But I asked Glenn Beck for advice when I was not much older than you, a couple years older than you. His advice to me, which I thought was surprising, but I've kept with me, is avoid self-destructive behavior. I thought that was really interesting advice. Don't take yourself out of the game. So I just want to pass that on to you. And I'll echo what Glenn Beck told America when Glenn filled in for Charlie's radio show. And that was because Charlie told Glenn that he wanted to be like Glenn. And Glenn was like, oh, you were thinking way too small. like you do like way more and way bigger and better than I did. And who knows, we can do that with Charlie. So Brilyn, my last question is people ask who's going to pick up the torch? Who's going to carry it? And I hope you don't feel a burden on you. Like, oh, I got to be, right? That's because that's a big ask, right? But what do we do? What do young people do? What do we all do now that Charlie's no longer with us in person?
So Charlie used to sign all of his texts at the end of the conversation with one word, and it was onward, exclamation mark. And so that's what we have to do. We have to move onward. Charlie has big shoes to fill, literally because he was a tall guy with a large shoe size, but also because of the legacy that he left. And one person can't do that. And there is no next Charlie Kirk, whoever takes over Turning Point. It's all of us. Every person that has a voice and is inspired to speak can do it. Is it terrifying? Yes. For the first time in my 8 years in politics, the morning after Charlie's passing, I woke up hoping that this was just a bad dream and said, maybe I stop. Maybe I put down the microphone. Maybe I go to class without a security detail and be a normal student. But we can't live like that. We can't live in fear. We can't live in a moment where we are not motivated. And I am more motivated than ever before to go to college campuses. So let us look out. We're coming.
Look forward to it. Brilyn Hollyhand, the Brilyn Hollyhand Show. Brilyn, good to talk to you, brother.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me.